An exhausted healthcare worker enters court. Sally Mossad steps into Judge Caprio's courtroom looking visibly drained. Dark circles under her eyes. Hospital scrubs still on from her shift. She's a newly certified CNA who just completed an exhausting 16-hour shift at Rhode Island Hospital. Now she's here to address a red light violation. But what makes this situation remarkable is Sally's attitude. She doesn't make excuses or attempt to mislead anyone. Instead, she admits what happened with such genuine humor that the entire courtroom can't help but smile. Then, something unexpected occurs. A SWAT team inspector stands up and says something that completely changes the atmosphere. Before revealing what inspector, Carrie said that transformed this simple traffic case into one of the most touching moments in Providence Municipal Court history. Make sure to subscribe to Judge Stories. We're on the road to 600,000 subscribers, yet 97% of viewers still haven't subscribed. If stories about hardworking healthcare professionals receiving the appreciation they deserve resonate with you, share your thoughts in the comments. By the end of this video, you'll see that Judge Caprio's ruling wasn't merely about enforcing traffic laws. It was about acknowledging those who dedicate their lives to helping others. Here's a question. Have you ever been so exhausted from work that it led to a mistake? Sally Mossad's experience shows that sometimes the system recognizes when compassion matters more than punishment. Wednesday afternoon, 3:20 p.m., Providence Municipal Court. Judge Frank Caprio looks up from his files as the bailiff calls the next case. Sally Mossad, citation for failure to stop at a red light. Sally walks in, clearly exhausted. Her hospital scrubs, a light blue set covered in cheerful cartoon prints, still on from her shift. The kind of uniform CNAs wear to bring comfort to their patients. Her hair is neatly tied in a practical ponytail, and her shoes, the standard soft-soled nursing kind, make faint squeaks on the courtroom floor. But it's her eyes that truly reveal the story. This is someone who hasn't had a proper night's sleep in days. Miss Mossad, Judge Caprio greets warmly, instantly noticing her condition. Please step forward. I can see you've come straight from work. Sally walks to the podium, managing a weary smile. Yes, Your Honor. Rhode Island Hospital. I just finished a double shift about an hour ago. A double shift? How long were you working? 16 hours, Your Honor. From 3 p.m. yesterday until 7 a.m. this morning. Then I had to be here by 3, so I just stayed up. She lets out a soft laugh, the kind that shows she's too exhausted to even worry about being in court. Judge Caprio's expression softens. It's clear to everyone that this woman is a healthcare worker who spent her night caring for others. The honest confession, I did it. Miss Mossad, you're a CNA, correct? Yes, Your Honor. I got certified 3 months ago. Still pretty new, but I really love what I do even when it's tiring. There's genuine warmth in her tone as she speaks about her work. Well, let's discuss why you're here today. You've been cited for running a red light on Hope Street. Can you explain what happened? Sally takes a breath, and what follows is so sincere and unexpectedly humorous that it shifts the entire mood of the courtroom. Your Honor, I won't lie to you, she begins. I'm too tired to come up with a good excuse anyway. Laughter ripples through the room, even Judge Caprio smiles. I already appreciate your honesty, Ms. Mossad. So, what happened next? I was driving home after my shift and came to the intersection. There was a red light ahead, and in my tired state I thought to myself, all right, I'll just ease through it. Judge Caprio raises his eyebrows. Ease through a red light? I know. Sally chuckles, putting a hand to her forehead. It made perfect sense at the time, Your Honor. My exhausted brain thought, there are no cars coming. I'll just slow down and roll through carefully. Like it was a yield sign, not a stop or a red light, just yield. The courtroom breaks into light smiles. Her honesty and self-awareness seem to win everyone over. Ms. Mossad, you understand red lights don't work that way, correct? Oh, I'm very aware now, Your Honor. Especially once I saw the flashing police lights behind me. That woke me up instantly. She widens her eyes to mimic her sudden alertness. Right then I thought, what on earth was I thinking? That's not how traffic rules work. Judge Caprio hides a grin. So you're admitting to running the red light? Absolutely, Your Honor. I didn't stop. I slowed down, but that still counts as running it. I'm not denying it. I just want to explain that after barely 3 hours of sleep in 2 days, my brain decided traffic laws were optional. Subscribe to Judge Stories on YouTube if you believe healthcare workers deserve appreciation for their dedication and service. Judge Caprio brings up the traffic camera footage on the monitor. Ms. Muscade, let's take a look at the video together. Sally sighs, already wincing. Here we go. The footage shows exactly what she described. Her car approaching the red light, slowing down noticeably but never stopping, glancing both ways, and continuing through the intersection carefully. Yeah, Sally says with a nod. That's exactly what I did. I understand why the officer pulled me over. That was definitely running a red light even though I was moving very slowly. Judge Caprio reviews the footage carefully. Miss Muscade, I can see you slowed down quite a bit and checked for traffic. But you're right, you didn't come to a full stop. No, Your Honor, Sally replies. I was trying to do this sort of cautious yield, but I know that's not a real traffic rule. The prosecutor steps forward. Your Honor, the violation is clear. Ms. Muscade has acknowledged the offense and the video confirms it. The standard fine is $85. Sally's expression shifts slightly at the mention of the amount. $85 may not seem like much to some, but for a newly certified CNA who just finished a 16-hour shift, it's a financial setback. Judge Caprio notices her reaction. Miss Muscade, is the $85 fine a hardship for you? Sally sits up straight, maintaining composure despite her fatigue. Your Honor, if I owe it, I'll pay it. I know I ran the light. It's just, CNAs don't earn a lot and I'm still paying off my certification costs. But it's fine. I made the mistake. There's no pleading or excuses, just a sincere acknowledgement of the situation and the reality of her circumstances. Judge Caprio seems to be reflecting on her words when suddenly, someone stands up at the back of the courtroom. Your Honor, may I address the court? Everyone turns. A man in plain clothes, yet clearly exuding law enforcement authority, rises. A badge glints on his belt. Providence Police Department. Judge Caprio looks intrigued. Please identify yourself for the record. Inspector Michael Carey, Providence Police SWAT Division. I've been observing the proceedings today for a case scheduled later. Inspector Carey, do you have something to add regarding Miss Muscade's case? Sally looks puzzled and slightly anxious as the courtroom waits for his response. She has no idea who this man is, or why he's speaking on her behalf. Inspector Carey steps forward, his tone calm yet assertive. Your Honor, I don't personally know Miss Muscade, but I know where she works and what she does. She's a certified nursing assistant at Rhode Island Hospital. Working the overnight shift? Sally nods slightly, still uncertain where this is leading. Your Honor, Carey continues, I'm a SWAT inspector. My job involves dangerous situations, critical decisions, and life-or-death moments. And from what I've seen, what Ms. Muscade does every night is just as demanding. The courtroom grows silent, all eyes on him. CNAs at Rhode Island Hospital care for the sickest patients, he explains. They respond when someone's heart stops at 3 a.m. They hold hands when patients take their last breaths. They handle the toughest, most physical, and emotionally exhausting work in the hospital, and yet their pay doesn't reflect how essential they are. Sally's eyes glisten, touched by the unexpected support. It's clear she didn't expect anyone to truly understand what her job entails. Inspector Carey goes on, Your Honor, I've worked 16-hour shifts myself. I know that exhaustion. I know what it's like to drive home after one of those days. Your brain barely functioning at half strength. He pauses before adding, and yet Ms. Muscade still had the awareness to slow down, check for traffic, and drive carefully. Was it technically legal? No, but was it the act of someone simply trying to get home safely after a night of saving lives? Absolutely. Judge Caprio listens closely, visibly moved by the inspector's words. I'm not suggesting traffic laws don't matter, Carey concludes, but context does. Ms. Muscade wasn't being reckless. She wasn't distracted or impaired. She was simply exhausted. From spending her night caring for the sickest members of our community, she made an unfortunate mistake while simply trying to get home safely. Then another voice echoed through the courtroom. Your Honor, may I add something? Another man stood up, clearly another member of law enforcement. Inspector Thomas Quinn, Providence Police, he introduced himself. I want to fully support everything Inspector Carey just stated. Judge Caprio nodded. Go ahead, Inspector Quinn. Your Honor, Quinn began. My mother was a patient at Rhode Island Hospital last year. The CNAs cared for her day and night. They were the first to notice when her condition worsened. They comforted her when she was frightened. Honestly, they may have saved her life by catching problems early, and I know they were working the same long, exhausting shifts that Ms. Moscad described. Sally began to cry quietly, trying to wipe away her tears without drawing attention. These healthcare workers are heroes, Your Honor, Quinn continued. They don't get enough credit. They aren't paid enough. And they certainly don't deserve to be punished for being human after saving lives all night. The courtroom broke into spontaneous applause. Sally covered her face, overcome with emotion. Don't forget to subscribe to Judge Stories YT, the narrator adds, for more moments where compassion outweighs bureaucracy. When the applause finally faded, Judge Caprio turned to Sally. Ms. Moscad, please look at me. She wiped her eyes and met his gaze. Did you run that red light? Yes, Your Honor. Is that against the law? Yes, Your Honor. Should you have come to a complete stop? Absolutely, Your Honor. Judge Caprio nodded. Good. It's important that you understand traffic laws exist for everyone's safety. A red light means stop. Not yield, not slow down, stop. I understand, Your Honor, I really do, Sally said sincerely. Judge Caprio's tone softened. However, I must also acknowledge what Inspectors Carey and Quinn have said because they're absolutely right. Context matters. Intent matters. And the situation surrounding a mistake matters greatly. Sally holds her breath, uncertain of what will happen next. Ms. Moscad, the judge begins, you spent 16 straight hours caring for those who couldn't care for themselves. You were exhausted, physically and mentally drained from saving lives. And in that state, you made a small judgment error. Sally breaks into tears as he continues. You weren't being reckless, nor were you putting anyone at risk. You were simply a tired healthcare worker who believed it was safe to cautiously roll through a red light. The courtroom lets out a soft chuckle, remembering Sally's earlier explanation. I could enforce this $85 fine, the judge says. The law permits it. You admitted the violation and the evidence supports it. But the law also gives me discretion to weigh circumstances and temper justice with compassion. He picks up a stamp but pauses. It's not the one used to confirm fines. Ms. Moscad, this citation is dismissed. No fine, no points, no penalty. Sally gasps, her hands covering her mouth as tears stream down her face. Your Honor, are you serious? She asks. Completely serious, he replies. You're free to go, but I ran the light. I admitted it, she insists. Yes, you did, the judge nods. And that honesty is one reason I'm dismissing this. You didn't make excuses or try to shift blame. You accepted responsibility, and that matters. Judge Caprio leans forward kindly. Ms. Moscad, I want you to know something. This courtroom, this city, this community, we see you. We recognize your dedication, the hours you give, and the lives you help, and we are thankful. Sally can only sob quietly, overwhelmed with emotion. You asked if $85 was a problem, he says. Here's what I think is the real problem. A healthcare worker who just saved lives for 16 hours being punished for being tired. That's not justice. So instead of adding to your burden, I'll simply say, thank you. The courtroom bursts into applause once more. Inspectors Carey and Quinn join in, clapping enthusiastically. The prosecutor smiles, and even the court staff appears moved. Your Honor, Sally says through tears, her voice trembling. Thank you so much. You can't imagine what this means to me. I think I can, Ms. Moscad, Judge Caprio replies kindly. Now go home, get some rest. And next time you see a red light, no matter how tired you are, make sure you come to a complete stop. I promise, Your Honor, Sally says, wiping her tears. Full stop every time. No more creative driving. Judge Caprio chuckles softly. Good. And Ms. Moscad, keep up the wonderful work you're doing at the hospital. People like you remind the rest of us that there's hope when we're sick or afraid. He waits for the applause to fade before addressing her directly again. Ms. Moscad, please look at me. Sally lifts her head, still emotional. Did you run that red light? He asks. Yes, Your Honor. Is that against the law? Yes, Your Honor. Should you have stopped completely? Absolutely, Your Honor. Judge Caprio nods approvingly. Good. Because I want you to understand. Traffic laws exist to keep everyone safe. A red light means stop. Not slow down, not yield, stop. I understand, Your Honor, Sally responds earnestly. I truly do. Judge Caprio's tone softens. However, I also have to recognize what Inspectors Carey and Quinn mentioned because they're absolutely right. Context matters. Intent matters. And the situation behind your mistake is important. Sally holds her breath, uncertain of what he'll say next. Ms. Moscad, the judge continues, you spent 16 hours caring for people who couldn't care for themselves. You were completely drained after a day of saving lives, and in that state, you made a human error while simply trying to get home. You weren't reckless and you weren't putting anyone in danger. You were an exhausted healthcare worker who believed you could safely drive through a red light. The courtroom shares a gentle laugh at the reminder of Sally's earlier explanation. Now technically, I could uphold this $85 fine. The law allows it. You've admitted to the violation and the evidence supports it. But you know, the law also gives me the discretion to weigh circumstances, to balance justice with compassion. Judge Caprio lifts his stamp, but it isn't the one used for enforcing fines. Ms. Moscad, this citation is dismissed. No fine, no points, no penalty. Sally covers her mouth, tears welling up again. Your Honor, are you serious? Absolutely, he replies. You're free to go, but I ran the light. I admitted it. Yes, you did, he says calmly. And your honesty is one of the reasons I'm dismissing it. You didn't make excuses or deny responsibility. That integrity matters. Leaning forward, Judge Caprio continues. Ms. Moscad, I want you to understand something. This courtroom, this city, this community, we see you. We see your dedication, your long hours, your sacrifices, and we're thankful. Sally is now crying openly, struggling to speak. You asked if $85 would be a hardship, he says. Here's what I think is truly unfair. A healthcare worker who's just spent 16 hours saving lives being penalized for being exhausted. That's the real issue. So instead of adding to your burden, I want to say thank you. The courtroom breaks into applause. Inspectors Carey and Quinn join in. The prosecutor smiles. Even the court staff appears moved. Through her tears, Sally manages to say, Thank you, Your Honor. You have no idea how much this means. I think I do, Ms. Moscad, he replies softly. Now go home, get some rest, and next time you see a red light, even if you're tired, please stop completely. I promise, Your Honor, full stop every time. No more creative interpretations. Judge Caprio chuckles. Good. And Ms. Moscad, keep doing your incredible work at the hospital. People like you remind the rest of us that there's hope, even when we're scared or unwell.